echo sings for you. Rain falls on this town as you fall into the light. It's dark as into the water.
Greetings, Uncle Travelling Matt here, and I am sitting in a rental car next to a dog park in the Finnish town, or is it a village? Not sure, of Taivalkoski, smack in the middle of the country. And what I'm doing there, well, hey, that's for tomorrow. I'm going to talk about yesterday. So yesterday was our fourth, I think, not sure, lost count, day in Finland, and it wasn't the most exciting of days. We didn't go and see the Northern Lights the night before, as I said we might, because we tried. We contacted two tour companies. They just said too much cloud, not happening even if we drive all the way to Sweden. And so there were no Northern Lights in Rovaniemi. So although we had a good time in Rovaniemi, it wasn't that Arctic. I mean, there wasn't altogether that much snow, and there were no Northern Lights. So I've been now twice up to like Northern Light regions and not seen the Northern Lights. Maybe one day I'll do it. Maybe that's one of those things you do before you die. But yeah, it's going to take a few attempts, I think. Unless, of course, it happens tonight. Apparently there's a chance I can see them in Oulu tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen because we'll be in the city, which the glare of the lights will probably shield them. Anyway, forget the Northern Lights. Well, I have to, because I'm not going to see them. And yesterday we woke up quite early. We had a 9:22 train from Rovaniemi to Oulu. It was about 2.5 hours on the train. We weren't in a sleeping compartment this time. Obviously, we had a seat. And walked down to the station and had a coffee and popped into a supermarket actually to get a croissant for breakfast. And the lady congratulated on my Ukrainian hat, and she said, "Am I Ukrainian?" I said, "No, but you know, like I bought it from there." And she's like, "We support Ukraine in Finland. We love Ukraine. Ukraine is fighting our battle for us." Interesting, of course, because Russia is not that far away, and Finland always stayed out of the Cold War. It was always the neutral country, wouldn't join NATO, and now it is joining NATO. And so Putin has sort of pushed them to a place that even the might of the Soviet Union never managed to push them to. And there is a feeling that Europe needs to be closer together now here in Finland, and also I guess as far away as in Britain, that, you know, with the unreliability of Trump's America, we're in a different world now, and that different world, I think we're still finding our feet in it. And you know, that little conversation in a supermarket in Rovaniemi sort of was a reflection of that. My thoughts on Rovaniemi, I mean, it actually felt very Soviet at times, you know, that bleak northern atmosphere and rows of apartment blocks. And there were a few Russians knocking around. We went to a Chinese buffet the day before, and there was a table full of Russians on the next to us. According to my friend Satu, the border is closed. So how they got there, or whether they are actually Russians, because she said there are a lot of Ukrainian refugees here, but I think they were Russian. They gave off the Russian vibe more than the Ukrainian one. But yes, there is this feeling that, you know, we are on that frontier. Although I don't know if the Finns have a great deal to do with Russia. They, like Satu said, that she's never been, even though she lives within a few hundred miles of the border. She always fancied doing the Trans-Siberian Express one day, but yeah, I guess I got a taste of that yesterday because the train ride to Oulu was literally through a big forest, and that's what they say the Trans-Siberian is you just ride for days upon days through a forest of pine and silver birch, and that's what we did. You know, Finland is a sparsely populated country, 5.7 million, I think it is, in a place that is vast compared with the UK. So yeah, I mean, Scotland, which is pretty empty in places, is only about 5 million anyway. So yeah, the population of Scotland is spread over 20 times the area, and you get the idea. But yeah, we got to Oulu. Oulu is, of course, one of the major cities, but it's probably only about 100,000 or so, if that. So, lovely, pretty railway station, by the way, proper old wooden one. Rovaniemi's is a 1950s rebuild after the Winter War. It got destroyed by the Soviets. Although it did have an older station that was in a different location, and I saw pictures of that in the Arcticum Museum. And then as I was walking through town, I saw the building. I thought, I'm sure that's the station building, and it was. And it's now preserved. I think it's a nursery or something, but it's in the wrong place these days. They moved the station. So, yeah. So, Rovaniemi station's not that exciting, but Oulu's is chocolate box pretty, and there's a wonderful cafe in it. So we had a sandwich and a coffee in the cafe, before we went on our way. And our first task was to get our rental car. We had a taxi driver from Yemen. There are a surprising amount of immigrants from various places up in this isolated part of Europe. And yeah, he was Yemenis. He was not very happy about Trump and his Iran war, which I can kind of get where it's coming from there. And he just said all war is wrong. I should know. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of see that one. And we got the car. It's a Volkswagen. I'm sitting in it at the moment. And then I drove all the way to Taivalkoski, which is where Satu lives. Taivalkoski, about 160 kilometers along a single carriageway, straight road through forest. And you really got this feeling of the emptiness of this land. In many ways, it felt like what I would imagine driving in America to be like. Obviously, you're driving on the other side of the road, a lot of forest, not a lot of people. And then occasionally, most of the buildings are quite modern because of, obviously, wood rots, but also the war, a lot was destroyed. I don't know if they got this far, though. But it was beautiful in its own way. And Tanya and I listened to music and had a chat, and it was pleasant, and the time went well. And that was that. And I felt yesterday that I was really starting to get a taste of actually what Finland is rather than tourist Finland. I mean, Taivalkoski is a place that nobody would ever go to out of choice. We went purely because of Satu. So Satu, she lives in a little apartment in Taivalkoski, and she's a lady that I met on the Camino. We walked together to Burgos, along with a Taiwanese lady for sections. And she's really cool. She's into dogs, and of course Tanya is dog obsessed. She's got 2 rescue greyhounds. So Tanya just fell in love with the greyhounds. She slept with one of the greyhounds. So yeah, her apartment it just felt very Scandinavian. It was cool. It was homely yet a bit minimalistic. And even though she only has a 1-bedroom apartment, it's got its own sauna. How Finnish is that? But we had a very Finnish evening. So Satu is a vicar. She's a priest in the Lutheran church. So we went to her church. I had a look around the offices first, and then into the church itself. It was a timber 19th century building. Interesting graveyard outside for soldiers killed in World War II. So there was the Winter War, the Continuation War, and then there was a very brief one with the Germans as well, the Lapland War, I think that was called. And it was a very strident, very Soviet-esque soldier looking out. Of course, clearly wasn't Soviet, they were all Finn soldiers, but and that's a war that doesn't get talked about much. But the church itself, very minimalistic inside, freshly painted, smelt of paint, and it like white wood. But the service was, although I didn't understand a word, because Finnish is so different to other European languages. I mean, it's from the Finno-Ugric language groups. It's not even an Indo-European language. So, for context, Hindi is closer to English than Finnish. So I didn't understand any, but I got it because it was basically exactly the same as the Anglican service. And so I followed that and used the opportunity to meditate a bit. It was Monday, Thursday, so it's quite a significant service. And then afterwards, we went back, picked Tanya up because she was not interested in the church. And then we went to a lake that is frozen over. And at the edge of the lake, There's a bit that isn't frozen over, and I would say we swam in the lake. We didn't swim in the lake. We got in and got out, and it was freezing. But it was so invigorating. It was really cool. And then we went home and had a home sauna. Obviously, the Finns go in naked, which I have no problem with, but Tanya's a bit freaked out by nakedness, so I went in separate from Satu and Tanya. But, yeah. And that's that. And then just chilled, relaxed, and chatted, and it was great to catch up, and it was lovely. And so that's me, Uncle Travelling Matt, saying, as ever, keep travelling.